I wanted to bring something to awe that would, be engaging and give you value. Many of us are here to grow our businesses, and I think that's kind of the main reason why we gather together, is to connect, form new alliances, strategic partners, find new customers, find new investors. So the topic of today is how to attract, engage, and retain enterprise customers. And this conversation, this cycle, also applies to investors. And so how many of you here are creators or developers or business owners of a XR type of a company? Cool. Anyone here from enterprise? Yes, awesome. Okay, that's nice. We have got a mix. So my name is Tristan Elizabeth Gribbin, originally from Northern California. I grew up in Palo Alto. I live in Iceland, and this is my company, Flow. I'm the CEO and founder. Since 2016, we've been building an immersive platform in VR, web, and mobile, created by award-winning filmmakers and meditation experts. And since the get-go, we've been serving corporate clients. And I'm proud to say this little anecdote. Our first client was CCP Games, and they still are subscribed to Flow today. They have a VR headset in their wellness room. So proud to say that. Yes, I have a slide deck as well. I just wanted to give you a brief intro to myself. Flow, I've done that. Now I'm going to shout out a thank you to my Flow team, to my co-founder Thora. She's not here, but without her I wouldn't be here. Also, before I came to AWE, I was at IVRA, the International Virtual Reality Health Association. They've been doing pioneering work, writing about VR and healthcare. Bob Fine, thank you for bringing me here to Lisbon. That's why I'm here in AWE as well. And thank you to Dr. Walter Greenleaf, who's my great mentor. So that being said, I want to tell you that we all came here, I think, to AWE in some way to move the needle for our business or for ourselves in our business. So number one, how do we attract those corporations, those investors, those people that we need? How do we get them to come to us, to get to know us? I'm going to switch to my slide deck, if I can. Oh, yeah, there we go. Thanks for your patience. One moment. Okay, thank you guys for your patience. All right, how do we attract the people to us, to our company? There's traditional ways: digital marketing, cold emails, not so great. Having a great web presence, being bold, going to shows like this, connecting with people. I think having a great web presence is really important, because if people are searching for your solution, they're going to stumble upon you. And if you have a great website, they'll send you a note and you can search that way. But for me, after 6.5 years of being in the trenches and building a VR, VR business, I believe that the number one way to attract corporations to your business is through personal connection. So going to a trade show. And just like the last speaker was saying, having them put on a headset, having the HR manager or the CEO or a decision maker or someone in the organization who can bring this to the right person, to put on a headset and have the experience. That's the number one way to attract people to your business. It really is a human thing. It's human connection. It's personal connections. It's conversations. And then once you have those conversations, it's about having, obviously, content is king, having great content, having a content that actually solves the problem of the customer's need. That's the fundamental. That's going to attract them to you. If you're solving a pain point that's very acute, that's very expensive, that's painful, if you're helping to solve that, that's going to attract the businesses to you. How to engage. I just wanted to mention, I did say that Flow's been working with enterprise customers from the beginning, and you might recognize many of these names. But we've had corporate contracts from the beginning, and yeah, I'm really proud of our relationship, for example, with PwC. We've been able to attract them and engage them in a way that's quite deep and profound. We co-published an article in the national newspaper about how Flow and VR had a great impact on the employee wellness. So got 90% of the employees to actually participate in a meditation program, which was, I think, unprecedented. And so I'm just kind of qualifying my background experience is that, we've had this experience of having these relationships through the years. And what's also important, I think, to attract and engage and retain corporate clients is to kind of have that validation. And when you have that, you have a community that's growing and people see, oh, they have it and they have it and they have it, and I want it too. That's that FOMO that kicks in that's always very helpful. So that's the attraction part. I wanted to find out in the audience, especially, well, from any of you really, from enterprise or from developers or creators, business owners, have I not mentioned some ways to attract customers that are out there? Because this is a really important part to be seen, right, as a VR company, to be known. How do you get those businesses that are all around the world to start paying attention? Does anyone have any ideas? How do you make some noise? How do you make a splash? Yeah? No? Okay, no pressure. So I think, having a strong web presence on your website and telling your story in detail, like you were describing in your talk just now, like you are solving a very specific problem. And so obviously, your website probably tells a great story. And it's about stories, about human stories, attracting them. But then what you said later was it's about when they see it in the headset, when they put on the headset, when they're immersed in the experience, then that's when the real magic happens. So I wanted to just share this with you, which is a testimonial from.
What sets Flow really out from other guided meditation is the technology that you provide with the VR headset and the portal, and you also have the app. It's all the same meditation, but in different mediums, so you can put on a VR headset and go into a completely different world. And at least I haven't found that in another brand or with another company. So that's why we chose Flow, so we can provide that to our employees to meditate at work in a completely different place, but still at work.
So imagine, you're in a busy, crowded workplace. This looks pretty peaceful in a sense, but let's say you're in a hospital emergency ward. You're in a high-stress area, and you can put on a headset and have a 4 or 8 minute break. It's quite miraculous to be able to calm, breathe, let go of some stress, shake off some stress, do some gentle stretches, connect to yourself. And then you go back to your work energized, or you could have even a 4 minute power nap. That's one of my favorite modes of Flow. So in Flow, we have 6 modes. It's breathe, move, let go, calm, focus, and restore. So you have choices. So I personally use the app every day. I often use it to prepare for sleep. So how to engage. So once you've attracted the enterprise customer and they know you're having a meeting, how do you sign that contract? And then once you've signed the contract, I think, what is it that's going to keep them using your product? Like, what is it that's going to get everyone in the organization? Like with PwC, we actually did a 90-day challenge. So we got 90% of the employees to sign on for the challenge, and then we had people competing for minutes in meditation. There was a bit of a gamification element towards the meditation that actually got people very motivated. So within the first, it was extraordinary. Like we're talking about Iceland here, so it was pretty cool. They had different stations of PwC around the country, and within 30 days, they'd racked up 5,000 minutes in meditation. And this was during a coffee break or a lunch break. They had to do it on non-billable hours, which was quite extraordinary. So I'm just going to give you a slight sneak peek into what it looks like when you put on a Flow headset, because that's the key moment, when the aha moment, when the HR manager or they say, okay, we want this. Nice. So with Flow, we combined the 360 pure nature from Iceland with music and guided meditation and the 6 modes of flow and expert guidance voices, and it's highly effective. So how to engage, and how do we get those people who are having very busy work days to take even a 4-minute break? Because I was hearing a lecture just at IVRA, which was a conference previous. A nurse says, nurses and doctors, they don't even have 5 minutes to have a snack or a cup of coffee or water. They're so busy during their workday. How do you get them to take a 4-minute, meditation break when it's so hard? That's the thing. How do you get the employees to use the VR? How do we make it so it's not just sitting there? The key is having those champions within the organization. The HR manager, the person that's there, look, I'm rooting for your well-being. This is what our organization is about. Our organization cares about your well-being. We are saying we want you to take a 4-minute or 8-minute break. We encourage you, and therefore we're going to make a wellness room. We're going to put the headset there. We're going to provide this app for you, free access, and we are going to stand for it. And standing for it can mean that, well, for us, it's been like HR managers publishing an article. This happened 3 times that an HR manager, without our even encouraging or saying anything, they've published articles, they've done a podcast, they've mentioned flow. They're saying, we have flow at work. We want our employees. We're encouraging well-being at work. We're encouraging mental wellness. So I think those champions, those people within the organization that really believe that this is important and this is a solution that they want the employees to use. You mentioned in the last talk about that, like having the champions, it means everything. So it's really about the human connection. The software is just it's not gonna move itself. It's moved by humans. Okay, so again, collaboration. And again, so I like to think of a product or a brand as something, or I like to think of flow, and I'd like you all to think of your own product or brand and think, how can it become a lifetime partnership? Not just a few months, not just a year, not just 2 years, not 5 years, but this is something you want, like a coffee machine or a water machine that's providing, that boost, that energy, that wellness. What is it? How do you frame that for yourself? How do you create that within your own company and your brand? And I think that longevity and that long term is a lot about this human interaction between the company and the company, the partnership. It's about a measurable impact. So when the company sees and knows a measurable impact, and that's something that's not only, can be in a clinical study, like we know that coffee, is addictive and gives you energy, so we know that there's always going to be a coffee machine. But what about meditation? So you have, you can say the data, but it's still not going to be the lifetime, long-term, forever partnership unless the engagement is there. So I think it's a lot about having those lifetime partnerships, about building in tools for engagement and building in the relationships with the champions and the story and it's like the emotional pull that makes them, they know, they've seen it, they've felt it, they've heard the story of how an employee couldn't sleep and they used flow and then the sleep improved. Or they've heard about anxiety and maybe an employee member brought it home to their teenager and the teenager was really supported and helped by having access to flow. So so it's about the user testimonials, it's about the data, measurable impact, it's about that partnership that could be, for example, co-publishing the article like we did in Iceland with PwC. That was really big. That was a turning point. I don't want to, I have some more slides to share with you. So I thought, for today, I want you guys to go away from this talk not just thinking about attracting, engaging, and retaining, but to have like an impact, right? So I have a 90-second meditation that we can share together, and you can meditate with your eyes open. You can look at the beautiful imagery from Iceland, or you can close your eyes if you want to and have a very deep relaxation. However you want to do it, just go with the flow.
As we begin our focus meditation, notice the sounds of nature. Take a deep breath. You can place your hands on your chest and take a full deep breath. To help you focus, you can choose a quality you'd like to gain in this meditation. Your quality might be expressed in a word or a sentence. For example, I want to find more energy or calm. Or it might just be a feeling in your heart. Choose a quality that's uniquely personal to you on this day, in this moment. There's no limit to the qualities you can find from within, so aim high. Whatever comes to you, trust it.
So I don't know if you guys thought of a quality that came to you in the meditation, or if you were just wondering, what is that quality you're looking for? But when I'm leading corporate sessions, I often say, if you're at a loss for what it is you're actually looking for in your meditation, one really good quality to aim for is gratitude, because gratitude is like an instant medicine. It's like an instant happy pill, because you go from whatever state you're in to actually recognizing the many blessings or whatever it is that's in your life that's actually giving you joy or a sense of happiness or security. So thank you all so much for being here, for awe, for giving me this opportunity. I wanted to actually open up to some questions if we have time. Great. Sam, thank you.
Thanks, Tristan. Really liked your talk, and great to see the app in reality, or virtual reality as it works. I hadn't seen it before. As you know, we're doing quite a lot around staff and patient wellbeing in the National Health Service in the UK. And I couldn't remember if that's an area you had already worked with or were looking to work with, but also interested with all the different companies you're working with. Was there a particular impact that sort of stays with you, or a particular partner that you've worked with where you can feel the partnership has had such a great impact on well-being for those employees?
Thank you. That's a great question. Thank you so much. That has been our really, I think our crowning glory has been working with companies like PwC. There's an IT company in Iceland called Advania, which is pairing flow with therapy on demand, which I think is a fantastic example. So I'm sure that the therapists are saying to the people, meditation is a really good idea. Why don't you try mindfulness? And now they have flow on tap. So either in the wellness room and the VR or at work. So, and that HR manager actually published a big article about this combination between the therapy and the VR and their initiative. I think that's an outstanding example. I think that the work with PwC has been tremendous, because we did that challenge and we measured a lot through an independent survey, and that was published in the paper. We had 90% of the employees participating. We had, after that, it was like 89% had been either moderately or greatly, most of them greatly impacted by the challenge. And then also similar numbers on who was going to keep using flow. So, and then of course we get the numbers about how people feel impacted. It's like better sleep, focus, greater sense of well-being, all the great benefits of meditation are at your fingertips. So thank you for asking that question, because that is what we're so passionate about. We're passionate about meditation, but we're very passionate about bringing it to large organizations, because that is actually making a big impact. And also, it's an anecdotal story. When we were doing the challenge at PwC, my tech team was over there doing some setup and stuff, and all the people were in like the coffee room and talking about it, and they were exchanging stories about how they were actually telling their personal stories about how they were less stressed, or how they have been helping them with sleep. And it was that is the most joyous moment, to hear those anecdotal stories. So yeah, thank you for that question.
Well, I have a question for you.
Great.
When you're talking about these metrics that PW had, 90% is great. Were they able to translate that into productivity gains, or have you ever worked with like universities to try to get at those numbers to try to justify?
Yeah, linking the actual data towards, let's say, taking a piece of time and measuring sick days or less sick days, we haven't done that yet, but I think that's a really great subject for a study. Yes.
Thank you. Maybe a more practical question for global companies. It's also interesting to serve the needs of the entire corporation in global offices. And especially, I think meditation is something where you want the mind being relaxed. So do you have localized versions, or are you thinking about language translated versions for global companies to roll this out?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question. It's always been on our roadmap and our vision to create just as many languages as possible. And I grew up in a school in Palo Alto on Stanford campus called Escondido, and our motto was Friends Around the World. And as a child, I had friends from Thailand and Uganda and different places all around the world. And I really would love, and we actually have a partner, and not a partner, a business partner, but we have an advocate, a representative of Flow in Uganda now, and been talking to some global organizations in Africa. So as soon as we get the traction that's needed in a particular market, then we have voices, we have people we want to integrate to the platform. So thank you for the question.
A question regarding the sector that I'm working in. So in a very, very, very stressful situations, and here I'm talking about people that have so much stress that they have brain strokes. Does this work actually? I mean, not the meditation part, but really deep meditation with Flow, with VR.
Thank you. That is the trick. Meditation is very difficult to achieve. I mean, people, like with the traditional audio-guided meditation apps, it can take days, weeks, or even months for people to have that aha moment, to feel that relief and that feeling of presence and peace. The thing about the virtual reality, when it's sensitively designed, is that people who are normally say they can't meditate. I've seen this. I had this experience at TechCrunch. People were running around, it's noisy, and this guy says, look, people are telling me I need to meditate. I'm very stressed, but I can't, and I don't want to. I think it's too, it makes me angry. That's what he told me. And then he tried Flow, and he took the headset off, and he had tears, and he said, this could change the world. So yes, I've seen it happen in very stressful situations, very active minds, people who are very, very stressed. They can tap into that piece. It's the immersive nature imagery actually is scientifically proven to calm the mind. And that combined with the guidance and the music is highly effective. So it would be very interesting if you have a particular group in mind, we can see what we can do. Yes?
So personally, I do meditation. I feel lots of benefits. But when you sell these products to enterprise company, and they pay the money and what they expect, do they measure some metrics to see, use your products, improve productivity or something like that? So they make that decision. Thank you.
Absolutely. Those are very important metrics, and we were talking about it earlier. We haven't done any study on the actual measurement, but measurable results are very important to corporations. And the only data we have on that right now is just through the experience we have working with companies so far. But I think that that's very important to be able to say, we've seen, but we can also rely on data of other companies that are out there that are larger than Flow. We're a startup company. So that if you look at the statistics on like a typical audio guided meditation company like Headspace or Calm, they have the data. The data is in. They know. They already know that activating meditation at the workplace reduces sick days and increases boost productivity. And and I think, yeah. So this is all a very interesting area. I'm also very interested in future clinical data, but this is something that will be in a future phase of Flow, hopefully soon.
Tristan, thank you very much. I appreciate the great presentation.
Thank you.